Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. Today is an exciting day for me because at last the Quad Cortex, the Neural DSP Quad Cortex has turned up. We've been waiting for this thing, or I've had this thing on order for about 6 months, and it kept getting pushed back and back and back and back. And finally it's turned up. What we're going to do today is to have a look at the initial patches when you first switch it on and maybe tweak some of those patches to see what we can get out of it. The first patch comes up with this Brit 2203 amp model, and that sounds like this straight out the box. So straight out the box, that actually does sound really good. Now for me, I'd like to add some delay with that and also change the reverb. So let's do that. Now I reviewed a demo unit of one of these some time ago, but I didn't get a lot of time with it, so I don't know it that well. But what I do remember is if you scroll down from the top of the screen, you get your I/O page. Now this is where we set our ins and outs, and we can also change the input level. So I'm using this Les Paul. But as you can see on this input level here, I think we could boost it a little bit. So let's turn up the input level, which is, I'm guessing, is going to be button A. So we can give that a twist. Now instantly I'm really impressed with the noise gate function in this, because it makes this guitar really quiet and it doesn't take away from the response of the guitar. Let's go out of this screen by pushing the done button, and let's go into the reverb, which is the last block. So as you can see here, we've got a room setting. I'm going to change that. Let's click on that and let's change device and let's make it a hall. It would have been really nice to see a plate setting, but they haven't got that. So we use the hall setting and we'll push done. So by changing it to a hall, it sounds like this. Now that's obviously way too much. So let's bring back the decay to about 2 seconds. And let's bring the mix right back as well. So I'm really happy with that. That sounds great. Now let's switch over to the delay block. And as you can see here, I think it says assign to G. So I imagine if I turn that on, that turns the delay on. Okay, great. Now let's take the sync off. And let's bring the delay time back. And let's turn the feedback up a bit as well. I really like these controls here that you can actually turn up and down, as well as using, you know, the touch screen. But I think for this video we'll just use this, as you guys can then see what's going on the screen. Now I'm really happy with that. That's a really usable sound. Let's have a look at some of the amp settings. If I click on the amp, if I was going to change anything about this, I'd say it's a little bit too harsh. So what we could do, I could have a look at the treble and the presence settings, but what is worth doing to check with any amp is to have a look at the mid setting to see how that is voiced. Some mid settings are sort of more low mid focused, and some mid settings are quite high mid focused. And the high mids is really where all those harsh frequencies are. So let's check with this mid setting, see what it does. The mid setting is quite high focus, so by bringing it back a little bit, it sort of takes that harshness away from it. But let's bring back the treble just a little bit as well. For me, that's turning it into like a perfect sort of modded Marshall sort of sound. Sounds great. Now we've got these other blocks here that are greyed out. Let's have a quick look. So we've got a few different overdrive, that one there, let's have a look at that. So we've got a few different overdrive blocks in. Let's have a listen to the first one. Now that sounds awesome. So I'm guessing if I push A, that turns that off and turns it on. So that's off. And that's on. Okay, let's have a look at number 2. Really, really good sound. The third one says rodent drive, so I'm guessing that's going to be like a rat. Let's turn it on. I know it's New Gear Day and it's hard to be objective when you've got a new piece of gear in front of you, but initial thoughts on this, it sounds fantastic. And under the fingers it feels really good too. Now if I want to save this patch, I'm guessing I'll just push up here and choose, let's go save as. Okay, so it saves it to your own preset bank, and let's save it to there, and it's saved there. Now I'm going to be doing quite a lot of videos on the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. I should just add that this is a completely unbiased review. I bought this unit out of my own money and I have no association at all with Neural DSP. So if there's anything that I don't like in it, I'm going to tell you guys. And if there's things that I really do like about it, I'm also going to tell you guys as well. But initial thoughts are really impressed. Join me in the next video where I'm going to be going over some more sounds inside the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. And we're going to be creating some sounds from scratch. I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. I really hope you guys got something out of this. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe, click on the bell button, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.